on Wednesdays, and she says what she does is she just kind of hangs out in the halls, and on the passes, the kids get to pet Peach. And I think if we ask the Dolores School District, wherever Peach is, we would probably see that their attendance spikes. Oh, one teacher rolls on the floor with Peach, so I can't say enough good things about the program. All of our dogs are ambassadors for the program, and so are our volunteers. Do we lose some volunteers? Yes. And we've always had a soft opening. People just hear about our program. It's word of mouth. I haven't put it out there because I do have other job duties. So being the coordinator, though, has been an honor, and I hope to continue, and I hope to have more adults with literacy problems. Right now, one of our adult is a gentleman who has been in and out of jail quite frequently. And bottom line, I think one of the problems is that he doesn't know how to read or write or express himself well. And Isabella, our Spanish services coordinator, has been working with him. One of our volunteers, I believe it was Carol, worked with a couple of little girls from China. We have had a Spanish student. And it's so important, especially for these kids when they first come in, to build that confidence and to have that help. I will turn this over, though, to Carol. I could talk forever about this, and I appreciate you giving me time. I know we've run over, and we'll make it brief, but not very often you get on the agenda at the City Council. Thank you.
I enjoy having kids read to me and to read to children. That's why I do this. My grandchildren don't live here, so I get to have other children read to me. Last fall, it was great fun when the little girl from China read to me. When they said when she started at Manaw, she spoke only 2 or 3 words of English, but she read so well. And it wasn't just because of me, of course. She was highly motivated, and her teachers worked well with her. But she did very well, and she enjoyed it. When I was subbing a couple of months ago, I discovered a beautiful little Navajo boy who was a little bit slow with reading. So I arranged for him to read to me. And now he just practically bounces down the hall as we're on the way to the cafeteria where he reads to me. And he's reading very well. One of the things we do is we read signs all the way down to the cafeteria and all the way back. And it's good for him. He likes it. I saw him when I was subbing there yesterday, and he said hi. So I'm very happy about him. But I'm especially happy with the progress Gabby's made. This is 4 years now she's read to me, and she is now reading 12 books in 28 or 30 minutes. Wow. She's doing very well, and she and I are very good friends. I would like now for her teacher just to say 1 or 2 sentences about this relationship and this time that Gabby spends with me.
Every week, Gabby really looks forward to Miss Carol coming, and she waits at the door sometimes, and she never wants to miss the time with Miss Carol. So I know it really is a good time for the kids to have. Okay. There's my son.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
With the increased stresses that our school district has, our ability to be able to provide services for our kids, the reduction in school budgets, anything that members of our community can do to help out our school system is really most appreciated. I'm retired educator, and I can tell you that having people come in from the community that are willing to go into a classroom and work with kids can be really beneficial. So if you have some time and you have the desire and enjoy spending time with kids, you might consider the library's reading program, or you might even want to just stop off at one of the elementary schools, middle school or high school, and check in the office and see if there's something that you might be able to do to help. All right, at this time, it's open to citizen participation. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address council? Okay, just state your name and address, please.
Hello, I'm Susan Lysak, 22793 County Road P, Dolores. I am the new Dolores Chamber Manager, and I just started this past week. But that is not why I'm here tonight. I wear a lot of hats, and one of them is the Dolores River Festival. I'm coordinating that event happening on June 1st, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about it while I have my 3.5 minutes. So this is the 16th year that the Dolores River Festival has done its event. It's happening on June 1st, starting at 10 a.m. It's hosted by the Greater Dolores Action, which is a nonprofit that does a lot of river cleanup and education and signage around the Dolores area. They've helped establish a lot of 501c3s like the Dolores River Boating Advocates and the Four Corners Recycling Initiative. So they utilize this festival to kind of sponsor and fundraise to help some of those projects. So I just wanted to invite all of you on for River Festival. We've got 9 bands happening this year. One of them's a country dude. And and we're also partnering with Stillwater Music. They're a nonprofit in Durango. And they have been auditioning their top bands, and they're going to feature 4 of them this year at the River Festival. Yeah. And we're also having a little bit of different this year is going to be Samba Galactica is going to be drumming right within our crowd. So imagine 25 drummers just partying with everybody right in the crowd and leading them from the side stage to the main stage. We're doing river rides since we have water this year. We actually had to cancel it last year because it was so low. But we're going to have water, and we're going to do river raft rides from noon till 3 o'clock, first come, first serve. We've got a kids discovery zone. We've got Snaggletooth Saloon and 4 different local beers and ciders happening, so it'll be a fun time. So I just wanted to invite everybody here.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming. Anybody else? All right, then we'll move on to public hearings. First item is a quasi-judicial item. I would like to ask if there's anyone on council. This has to do with the new fermented malt beverage liquor license for Paragon Business Investments doing businesses Go for Food and Fuel. If there's anybody on council who has discussed this topic with anyone prior to this evening, if so, would you please disclose that conversation so that a determination can be made as to whether you should participate in the discussion and vote on this matter. And that goes for the other quasi-judicial item that is on the agenda as well. So, Mike, do you want to begin, or?
Well, Linda's got some of this as well, but we have an application to be presented.
Mike, do you have your mic on?
No.
How many times have to tell you?
It's newfangled, sir. An application's been presented to the city clerk for a new liquor, or a new alcohol license, beverage, fermented malt beverage, I'm sorry. The police department has conducted its usual investigation, so if Andy Brock could be sworn in and present. I believe he also has some petitions to present to council.
Do you solemnly swear affirm and defend the laws and testimony that you will give before this council, truth and whole truth?
To the Cortez City Council, a report concerning an investigation of the applicants for a fermented malt beverage liquor license applied for by Paragon Business Investments, LLC, doing business as Gopher Food and Fuel. The address of Gopher Food and Fuel is 2410 Fairway Drive, Cortez, Colorado, 81321. Roy C. Lane has been duly appointed and directed by the Cortez City Council and Montezuma County and the state of Colorado to investigate the above applicant and to state the official position of the Cortez Police Department, and he reports the following. First, he's contacted the City of Cortez Planning and Zoning Office and spoke with Neva Conley. Neva indicated that the zoning regulations do allow a fermented malt beverage liquor license as a permitted use, according to the Schedule of Land Use Code Section 3.05A. 2, public notice was given by posting of a proper sign on April 10th, 2019 on the property described in the application. A photo of the public notice is attached to this report. Required notices were published in the Journal on April 12th, 2019. There are no other businesses that have the same type of liquor license in the immediate area. A poll of the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses within the neighborhood was taken to obtain an opinion on granting this liquor license is applied for by the applicants. All persons contacted were advised of the time and place of the public hearing and were asked, do you have an opinion on the liquor license being granted? The following are the results of the poll. 45 people were in favor of granting the license. 0 people were against granting the license. 3 were neutral and did not wish to express an opinion. The location complies with Colorado Liquor Code rules and regulations. The location does not create any known public safety of endangering public health. A copy of the report was delivered to the applicants on May 7th, 2019. Cortez Police Department, signed by Roy C. Lane, Chief of Police.
And Lieutenant Brock, do you have those petitions or have you given them to the clerk? And Madam Clerk, could we please put those into the record on behalf of the investigation by the city?
Yes.
And then if the applicant wishes
Yes,
to
she's in.
speak?
Hi, I'm just presenting the petition that we circulated to of people in favor. There were more people, but when I knocked on their door, they looked out and I think they saw someone that they thought was selling something. So maybe they didn't answer the door for that reason, but there are people in the direct neighborhood and kind of all around that signed it, so I don't know.
And would you like to have that petition submitted as evidence on your behalf?
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
And could you, if you hand it to me, I'll give it to the clerk. Is there anything else you'd like to tell council about your application and what you want to do?
I guess we've had previous beer and liquor licenses, and we've never had any sort of negative, we've never had police issues with them, never been in violation. So we take it very seriously when we have these kind of licenses that we adhere to all the rules and regulations that are with them. That's about it.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. Nope.
Thank you very much. Smart answer.
Did you guys have questions for me?
Anybody in council have a question?
I have none.
Thank you very much.
Based on the evidence and staff's recommendation that the liquor license be approved.
Does anybody on council have a question?
I don't.
All right, in that case, I'm going to open the public hearing. If anybody would like to speak for or against this application, if you'd please step up to the podium, state your name. All right. Seeing nobody take advantage of that. If this time, if there are no other questions or comments, council, may I have a motion?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion that after considering the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood, the desires of the adult inhabitants, the necessity of any restrictions on the license, the good character of the applicants, and compliance with all the provisions of Title 44, Article 3-312 of the Colorado Revised Statutes, that council approve a fermented malt beverage liquor license for Paragon Business Investments LLC, doing business as Gopher Food and Fuel, located at 2410 Fairway Drive in Cortez.
I second it. Noyes.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Betts.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. Congratulations. You're in business. All right, the next item on the agenda is again a quasi-judicial item. 2 new fermented malt beverage liquor licenses for Western Refining Retail, LLC, doing business as Giants number 7154 and Giants number 6064. Linda, we'll start with you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony that you will give before the council shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. We have 2 different applicants here. Do you want those read separately or together?
You can just read them together, they say the same thing.
Thank you.
The addresses.
Cortez City Council. A report concerning the investigation of the applicant for a fermented malt beverage liquor license applied for by Western Refining Retail, LLC, doing business as Giant 7154 and Giant 6064. The address of the Giant 7154 is 2021 East Main Street, Cortez, Colorado 81321. The address of Giant 6064 is 2320 East Main Street, Cortez, Colorado 81321. Royce E. Lane has been duly appointed and directed by the Cortez City Council in Montezuma County and State of Colorado to investigate the above applicants and to state the official position of the Cortez Police Department, and reports the following. Contacted the City of Cortez Planning and Zoning Office and spoke with Neva Conley. Neva indicated that the zoning regulations do follow a fermented malt beverage liquor license as a permitted use according to the Schedule of Land Use Code, Section 3.05A. Public notice was given by posting of a proper sign. Make sure I'm all right here. On April 10, 2019, on the property described in the applications. A photo of the public notice is attached to this report. Required notices were published in the Journal on April 12, 2019. There were no other businesses that have the same type of liquor license in the immediate area. A poll of the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses within the neighborhood was taken to obtain an opinion on granting this liquor license as applied for by the applicants. All persons contacted were advised of the time and place of the public hearing and were asked, do you have an opinion of this liquor license being granted? The following are the results of the poll. For Giant 7154, there were 45 people in favor of granting the license, 0 were against the license, and 5 were neutral and did not wish to express an opinion. For Giant 6064, there were 45 people in favor of granting the license, 0 were against granting the license, and 5 were neutral and did not wish to express an opinion. The location complies with Colorado Code rules and regulations. The location does not create any known public safety of endangering public health. A copy of the report was delivered to the applicants on May 7, 2019. Cortez Police Department, signed by Chief Royce E. Lane.
Lieutenant, do you have the originals of those petitions with you tonight?
I do.
Would you please present those to the clerk? And Madam Clerk, would you include those in the record as evidence regarding this application?
Yes, thank you, Mike.
And then, do we want to hear from the applicants? Do the applicants want to be heard? How to say that?
I'm Bill Bixler with Western Refining, representing Giant Service Stations 6064 and 6060. I have some petitions that I would also like to, is this on or I'm being quiet?
So would you like those to be included in the record as evidence? Okay. Is there anything you'd like to tell the council?
Appreciate the consideration in granting the license for the, she gives me, this is nerve-wracking, for granting license for the, granting permission for the license to the stations. Any questions of me?
I have none.
Thank you.
I have any.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council, does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any.
All right, in that case, I'm opening it to a public hearing. If there's anybody would like to speak for or against the issuance of this liquor license, you may step up to the podium. All right, saying no.
Madam Mayor, after considering the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood, the desires of the adult inhabitants, the necessity of meeting restrictions of the license, the good character of the applicants, and compliance with all the provisions of Title 44, Article 3-312, Colorado Revised Statute Council, may approve a new fermented malt beverage liquor license for Western Refining Retail LLC, DBA Giant 7154, located at 2221 East Main Street, and Giant 6064, located at 2320 East Main Street, Cortez.
Second that?
Betts?
Aye.
Noyes?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Sheik?
Aye. All right, congratulations. Thanks for coming. All right, we have no unfinished business. Moving on to new business. Dean, the Golf Advisory Board.
Yes, good evening, City Council. The Golf Advisory Board for the City of Cortez consists of 5 voting members, and all members shall be Montezuma County residents. Currently, 1 adult vacancy exists for the Golf Advisory Board at the at-large position. The city received 3 letters of interest from J. Samuel Jarvis, Nikki Crowley, and Bill Lewis for the at-large position. The Golf Advisory Board members interviewed the 3 candidates at the March 27th and April 24th Advisory Board meetings. Following the April 24th meeting, the interviews, the Golf Advisory Board members discussed the interviews and then voted by unanimous support for J. Samuel Jarvis to serve another 3-year term on the Golf Advisory Board. And not that I'm a voting member, but I think we had 3 really quality candidates for that position. I think the Advisory Board felt Sam Jarvis has done such an outstanding job for us just to continue with his term, new term on the advisory board. So with that, for this evening, the City Council may either choose to interview each candidate prior to making its decision, could forego the interviews, and simply base its decision upon review of their letters of interest and the recommendation of the Golf Advisory Board.
All right, council, questions?
I don't have any. I have none.
Pleasure. Motion?
I hope before you make a motion, I kind of am interested in interviewing these candidates. It's not that I don't think Sam's done a good job, but hearing Dean say that there was 3 really, really qualified candidates, we don't always hear that in these recommendations. And I don't want to delay the appointment, but I would actually, I'll make a motion. I would like to make a motion to interview these individuals. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Carlson?
Aye.
Levy?
Aye.
Noyes?
Aye.
Keel?
Nay.
Lucero?
Aye.
Betts?
Aye.
Sheik?
Aye. All right, so how do we handle this then?
Next work
This was a
session.
test.
Nice
This
can
was
of
a
worms you
test.
opened there. The next work session, they can probably.
Yeah, the work session, I believe.
Do it at the work session?
Yeah.
You can?
Okay.
So we'll set that up.
Yeah, I think it'd be really beneficial to talk to some of these people. We get the recommendations, but it sounds like maybe all of them could fit into a volunteer position with the city someday, and it might be to our benefit to.
And maybe in the future, what council
Exactly.
people that want to do this can do is set it up with Dean to go actually be
Okay.
there when they're interviewing them. That would have been the type of foresight I think that would have benefited.
I know, I think it was an
everybody.
option that was offered in the motion.
Yeah. Well, I think that would have been useful.
Sure.
In expediting the process, because our work sessions, sometimes we have pretty pressing matters.
Understand.
I don't think it's ever come up before, so.
I don't think it has either.
So maybe that's, just for the sake of making it expedient, maybe that's something in the future that be considered, that council be given a heads up so that, because I think that's certainly a valid.
I agree it's a valid point, and had I known of when those were going to be happening, I probably would have attended them. So, yeah.
So, okay. All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Appointments to the Cortez Public Arts Committee. Eric.
Yes, hello again. We have 4 openings for the Cortez Public Arts Committee. We had 2 one-year appointments with our initial round. We had 1 2-year appointment who is unable or would like to be replaced due to time constraints, and then our high school member is also a 1-year appointment. We had 4 people pass in letters of interest to us to serve on the committee. These 4 applicants met with the committee at our April meeting. The committee found them to be excellent candidates and really good choices with diverse backgrounds that could really help move the art committee forward. As you know, it's your option if you'd like to interview the candidates. You may do so. I believe 3 of the 4 candidates are actually here this evening. Two of the 4 are here this evening. And I agree. Again, like Dean said, I'm not a voting member of the committee, but I think these are all excellent choices, and I'm excited to hopefully have them on board to keep us moving forward.
So we've got 4 candidates and 4 openings.
4 candidates, 4 openings, yes.
Any of the candidates that are here, would you like to step up and introduce yourself to council? Tell us maybe why you'd like to be on the.
Do I have to press something? How's this thing work? Chris Lindell, 32905 County Road P, Mancos. And I'm excited to help the city move along with a lot of arts projects. I have a long background in music and music production, and also other arts as well. So that's who I am, and hopefully I can do a great job working with Sonia to create a further further projects for Cortez. Any questions?
I don't have any, Senator.
No questions. Oh, Orly, what do you want?
All right.
Guys good?
No, thank you.
My name is Mark Allen. I've been a public school music teacher for 37 years. I retired from New Mexico a month ago, and a week later was hired by the Cortez School District, so I am now singing I'm a Little Teapot for a living. I started the Four Corners Community Band 20 years ago, conducted it for 3 years, took 15 off, and now I'm back for my 3rd year. I play with a lot of the local bands around here. I've been on boards down in Arizona, several different community groups, and I've been in New Mexico for the last 19 years, and I'd like to get back home and make my contribution to Cortez.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, council? Yeah, I have a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Mark Allen, Chris Lindell, Brenda Van Kuren, and student member Alexandra York as members of the Cortez Public Arts Committee.
Second.
Not yet, not quite yet.
Levy?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Betts? Aye. Noyes?
Aye.
Sheik?
Aye. Welcome to the Arts Committee. We'll expect to see great things.
Music.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Quasi-judicial item, this is the transfer of ownership of a hotel and restaurant liquor license to Las Pasta, and that's a pasta. Is there anybody that would like to recuse themselves from this?
I will be recusing myself from this vote. Thank you.
You don't like barbecue?
And again, just a reminder, this is a quasi-judicial item. So if any member of council has discussed this topic with anybody prior to this evening, please disclose that conversation. All right, Linda, do we start with you or do we start with Mike?
I'm happy to present this. Stormy Cordova, is it Beatty? Beatty. Has applied for a transfer of ownership of Jimmer's liquor license. Last year, you guys approved a liquor license for Jimmer's, a hotel restaurant. So the license is still current through August. Therefore, Stormy didn't have to go through the same process the other applicants did at the start. That was the difference in what's happening here tonight. So she has completed all the paperwork to transfer the license from Jimmer's. Then the information will still go to the state. She'll receive a new number for her license, but she didn't have to go through as much of the process, for example, the public hearing. I think Stormy would like to talk a little bit about when she's going to open and what's happening, but she did have to complete the background check just like the other applicants did, and all her paperwork is complete.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Stormy. I've lived in Cortez most of my life. My family's from here. I worked at Las Pasta for 8 years before they closed. And when they closed, I'm like, what am I gonna do? So they offered to sell it to me, and I've been working on it for about a year, trying to find the right location. And Jim LaRue actually called me and was like, would like to see you in here. So we're trying to get Lots of Pasta and That's Pizza back open and get our locals' favorite back, get some pasta back in Cortez. And I think we're trying to be open by the end of this week. Fingers crossed, everything goes well. We had a little bit of delays, but we're shooting for the end of this week, possibly tomorrow, light opening. So that's all I have. I hope you approve the liquor license. I think it'll just benefit the pasta, pizza, keep it what it was before they closed a year ago.
Okay, questions, council?
I have none. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Mike, do you have anything to add?
This is just a simple transfer of an existing license, so it doesn't require the public hearing and the other investigation by the police department like you saw previously. And it's my understanding staff recommends approval of the transfer.
Okay. So council, are there any questions? Any other questions, comments?
I don't have any.
I have none.
No.
In that case, may I have a motion, please?
Your Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve a transfer of ownership of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for Lots of Pasta and That's a Pizza to be located at 439 East Main Street without a public hearing.
Second.
Keel.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Levy.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye, you're in business. We will look forward to your opening.
Yes, we're getting closer. I'm going back to work now.
Okay. Get that place open. All right, Tracy, the ordinance 1266, series 2019, having to do with historic designation.
Thank you. So in 2017, the city received a CLG grant to survey a portion of Main Street.
Oh, hang on just a second.
Oh, right.
Apologies. Sorry, Joe.
310 East Main Street, also known as the Kenyon Motors Building, was determined to be eligible for listing on the city's Registry of Historic Sites. The structure was built in 1920 and originally housed a motor company that sold automobiles and farm equipment. It currently houses a marijuana dispensary. The Historic Preservation Board voted to approve the listing, and the property owner, Sherry and Gilbert Garcia, applied to be listed on the Historic Register. It meets the criteria for listing as it was a location of commerce and is part of the commercial core of Cortez. And staff recommends approval of the listing to the Historic Register and recommends council set the hearing for the ordinance, the first reading of the ordinance.
All right, council,
Or second reading.
questions?
It meets, Tracy, it meets all the regulations that the normal houses do, and I'm thinking of the ones on Montezuma. Same things apply, correct? For the Cortez registry, since this is not a national registry, is that right?
Yeah, it's not eligible for the National Register. So it has to meet, the building has to be at least 50 years old and being built in 1920. It meets that criteria, and it has to meet one or more. And it at least meets the cultural criteria that it exemplifies cultural, political, economic, or ethnic heritage of the city in that it's a commerce building.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
All right, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, consider approving the first reading of the ordinance 1266, Series 2019, approving the inclusion of the structure located, the FR Coffin Addition subdivision to be included in the City of Cortez Register of Historical Structures, Sites, and Districts. Specify the structure at 310 East Main Street and set for a public hearing May 28, 2019.
Second.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson. Aye. Keel.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Noyes.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye. Peyton, the appointment to the Cortez Youth Commission.
Good evening, Council. David Easton, he is a senior at the Southwest Open Schools, and he's expressed interest in joining the Cortez Youth Commission. He's been regularly attending our meetings since February of this year and has really shown dedication to the group. His application is in Council's packet, and he passed the background check. All youth commissioners who are 18 or older are required to pass our background check. Our bylaws state that we can have up to 15 members. Currently, we have 11 members appointed by City Council. So staff is requesting that Council appoint David to the Cortez Youth Commission. Thank you.
Any questions, Council?
Is he around?
Is he around?
Unfortunately, he couldn't make it
Oh,
tonight.
must be curfew.
School night.
All right, Council, may I have a motion, please? There are no questions.
I make a motion that we appoint David Easton to the Cortez Youth Commission.
Second. Noyes.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Betts. Aye. Carlson. Aye. Levy.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye. Okay. Resolution number 17, Series 2019, delegation for fiduciary duty of defined contribution deferred compensation retirement plans for city employees. John.
Thank you, Mayor. I requested that this be put on your agenda tonight because it came to my attention as we were reviewing some resolutions and things that the current resolution that would define the fiduciary duties are spelled out to 3 people who are no longer with the city. So I asked that names be dropped and just positions be put in this resolution so you don't have to revisit it. No matter how it changes, it will still be the 3 positions, the finance director, the city manager, and the personnel director.
Are there any questions about this, Council?
Could you clarify that a little bit? Is this something that's, I'm sorry. Is this something that would apply to other employees as well, or just simply those 3?
The other person named is the police, Chief Roy Lane is named specifically, but he only oversees what the police department does. And unfortunately, it appears that this has not been reviewed in a number of years because we will be changing the company who oversees our deferred compensation.
Gotcha. So it's just been an oversight for a little too long, is what you're
Yes.
saying, so appreciate
Just
you
some cleanup.
catching that. Thank you.
Any other questions? May I have a motion, please?
Your Honor, make a motion to approve resolution number 17, series 2019, a resolution providing delegation of fiduciary duty of defined contribution, deferred compensation retirement plans for city employees.
Second.
Betts.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. All right, Mike, resolution number 15, 2019, having to do with adopting an open records request policy.
The last time we really looked at an open records request policy seems just the other day, but I got thinking, and it's back when City Manager Harrington was here, and it got some minor updates. There's been some changes to the law. There's been some changes into the types and quantities and qualities of the requests we've been getting, and our policies didn't enable staff, primarily Linda Smith, the clerk, who's the custodian of all the records except the court records and the police records, to be able to answer and handle these requests. So Linda, I can't take credit for finding the policy at all. Linda went and found one that she thought would work. We made a few small changes to it to better reflect how the city does business and in the law. And so staff's recommendation is that you pass this resolution. There's also included a fee resolution for records fees because we also needed to update those as to type and or quantity and how they're done. And we also updated the request form to match the policies. So staff recommends this be followed. This will be for all of the open public records. This does not include criminal records, criminal justice records, which would be court records, and then the police records out there. That'll probably come to you sometime in the near future as well. There's some updates that we can make there.
All right, council, questions?
No, I have none.
May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 15, series 2019, adopting an open records request policy and approving forms for requesting records and setting standards, fees, and charges for records requests.
Second.
Carlson.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Betts.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. All right, Mike, litigation settlement decisions.
During the executive session, you received recommendations from the city's attorneys, those that are doing the actual litigation and myself, about how to settle two matters. And we are asking for authority to, in the first portion of the executive session, the Newview Pharma matter, we are asking authority from council to settle the matter as was recommended. So if we could have a motion as to the recommendations you received in executive session. So if we could have a motion to that effect in a second, we could move forward on that matter.
Okay, may I have a motion, council, please?
I would make a motion to reject the settlement offer made in the Newview Pharma matter.
Second.
Carlson.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Betts.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye.
And then, because of the position of where we are in the negotiations in the next matter, we would just be asking for authority to proceed with the number discussed and recommended to you in the French matter.
Any questions?
Sorry.
I would make a motion to authorize the attorneys working on behalf of the city to attempt to settle the matter for the numbers discussed in executive session.
Second.
Levy.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Betts.
Aye.
Noyes.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. We have no draft resolutions or ordinances, no other items of business at this time. Are there any citizens that would like to address council? All right. City Attorney's report, there is none. Does the city manager have a report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is more for the public than the council because you've already been informed, but our 2016 financials have been sent to the auditors. We anticipate that they will get to these in mid-June, and as soon as they send their adjustments back to us, we will get them entered right away, do the upload, and then check for any problems. In 2017 should be immediately ready to go back or out to the auditors. We are making a lot quicker progress now, and we are working diligently to get this done by the deadlines so we can get these grants into DOLA in August. The other thing I have, if it's not inappropriate, I would ask that Dean step up to the mic and he can answer Councilmember Keel's question from earlier tonight about the payment to Community Connections.
Thank you.
On Community Connections, that's a quarterly payment for them, and that's Community Connections, again, who we work with the disabled community, and they pick up trash in all the parks.
I know who Community Connections.
Yeah, so it's a quarterly
And is that always, I guess maybe I haven't recognized it in a while, but has that rate always been that?
Yeah, we've retained, I mean, we would have had to take it out to bid, so it's a retained rate from last year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're
Appreciate the update.
Thanks, Dean.
I just wanted to jump on the tail end of what John said about the Casella and the audit. About Casella and the audit, I actually just want to acknowledge, I came down what I felt was pretty tough on Casella, and I think that they've actually surpassed my expectations, and I just went on the record to acknowledge that I appreciate them working with us after everything that's happened. It kind of makes the bad taste in my mouth get a little better, so. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else, John?
That was it, thank you.
Okay. City council members, has anybody been to a meeting?
I've been to a couple of them this month. One of them was to the Historic Preservation, but that's already pretty much been covered for the May 18th day. And then the second one I went to was I was at a meeting with the mayor, and it's a Mesa Verde tourism, is that it?
Mesa Verde Country.
Yeah, Mesa Verde Country, and we're going to break this up some, but I'm going to say that when we went in, they had just finished having a get-together, and they are in the process of revamping, and they got rid of a couple of volunteers that they had from before didn't work out or didn't stay, but they have like 9 or 10 new ones, and some of them were volunteers before that are just thrilled to be back. And so they're thrilled, of course, in there that they have volunteers that know what they're talking about right off the bat. And so it sounds like the decision we made a few weeks ago was a good one. And now I'll let the mayor speak.
Well, both of us attended the Mesa Verde Country meeting on the 8th of May. The last couple of months has been busy months, as you can well imagine. Not only was Kelly busy trying to do all of the things that she does in her capacity as executive director for Mesa Verde Country, but she was also in the process of trying to get things switched over because Mesa Verde Country is taking over the management portion of the Welcome Center now. Kelly reported that social media engagement is up with the exception of Twitter. They are on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Their webmaster, which is Internet Blizzard, is taking on some new duties and responsibilities and is providing some additional social media engagement. So they're involved in that aspect as well as being webmaster. Farm and ranch tours have been scheduled throughout the summer. Western Adventure Tours is actually taking these over. Originally, those tours were kind of the brainchild of people affiliated with the Cortez Cultural Center. They had 2 farm tours and 2 ranch tours last summer that were pretty successful. This year, Western Adventure Tours is going to be the point agency. Part of the money collected for those tours will go to the Cultural Center to benefit them. But because Western Tours is going to take it over, they will be able to offer more tours. And they've got, I think they have 4 different families, 2 ranch families and 2 farm families who are going to be involved in that if they can get that finalized. Lodger's tax in town was down 12% year to date. They're not really sure whether it's actually down or there were some missed payments. And so it could be that it's just a question of trying to catch up on that.
Will they have a clarification on that soon?
They should by, we meet every 2 months, so we should know by then. Unlike some taxes that come in, if the taxes aren't paid exactly on time, at this point, I don't believe there's a penalty for that. And so the belief is that probably what's happened was that some taxes just didn't get turned in time to get registered, but they will pick up. So we'll see. We'll be in a better position to know that come the next 2 months. They have hired a new manager for the Welcome Center, Darren Upton, who is from a long time Megas family. He's coming to the Welcome Center from Forest Service. He performed many of the same kinds of tasks that he's going to do as manager of the Welcome Center. I was fortunate to get to sit on the interviews for these new positions, and he is a really engaging young man. I think he's going to do great. He's got lots of personality. He obviously loves working with people, which is really what you want at that kind of a facility. So I think he's going to do a great job, and he's really anxious to get started and has some great ideas.
What's the position?
He's the manager. He'll be the new manager of the Welcome Center. Kelly's going to provide oversight, but he'll actually manage the facility. And his is a full-time position. And then the assistant manager, which is a part-time position, was offered, and Christy Rodri accepted. She had been an administrative assistant for the superintendent Durango for a number of years. She and her husband now live in Cortez, and she was, again, was a very pleasant, engaging person. I think she's going to do a great job as well. So Kelly's really lucky. There were some wonderful folks that applied, and I think we chose a couple that will do a great job. Kelly mentioned that she is increasing marketing to Australia now. We're continuing to market to Great Britain, Germany, France, and the Asian market. And it's just kind of interesting that we're getting more and more tourists from Australia that are coming to this area. The Welcome Center transition over to management by Mesa Verde Country was on the 6th. And as Sue mentioned, there are 10 volunteers, so we're in great shape there. And then very quickly, John and I went to a Southwest Colorado Council of Governments meeting on Thursday, May the 9th. The organization has been struggling a little bit simply because they have had some of their members drop out. I think Miriam, who's the executive director, and her staff have done a really good job of being able to consolidate in order to be able to save some funding. They are in the process right now of applying for a rather substantial broadband grant. And if we're able to get that, we're looking at several $1 million. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. There has been some discussion on the effects that Tabor, Gallagher, and Amendment 23 are having, and they are ongoing effects that have made it really, really difficult for the state to be able to have the funds to be able to provide some of the services that we as citizens of this state say we want. So she's made arrangements to provide information on an approach that Build a Better Colorado is suggesting for maybe remedying that. And then the last thing that was discussed at length, one of the things that Miriam was wanting to do was to come up with a strategic plan. So local facilitators were hired to do that, and the decision was made to have 2 meetings to come up with, get input from the board as to the direction we would like to see the COG go, and then to formalize that at a second meeting. Farmington had actually approached Miriam about the possibility of them joining the COG. There are a lot of things that we have in common with that area. Their nearest COG is in Gallup, and they felt that they probably had more in common with us than they did with Gallup. So they are bringing, I believe it's, John, $15,000 to the table to participate, and Miriam has already been working with them in order to provide some services. They are especially interested in broadband because we're a little further along in that than they are. So the entire workshop was spent on executive sessions. So is there anything else for the good of the city? We are hereby adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Nice, wake up. Meeting's over. Meeting's over. No.